Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
First down at 10 at their own 10-yard line. Tevin Coleman with some running room. Tevin Coleman down the sideline. Coleman, one man to beat. Tevin Coleman's going to go 90 yards, and Indiana takes the lead. Randall L. scrambles, started off the pitch, keeps it himself down the sidelines. He could go. Antoine Randall L. touchdown. Rory going to the single coverage, end zone. Touchdown! He hits Cooper again.
Welcome to the Hoosier Happy Hour podcast post-game edition. Day late, but it's okay.
Not $1 short.
Not $1 short. That's Brandon. Not $1 short. What's up, Brando?
Yeah, no, thank you for accommodating. As you know, my wife and her friends were at your tailgate and in Bloomington. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to spend some time with the fam yesterday after our weekend without. So
what
the delay is mine. So just want to let all the listeners know, those that couldn't listen to it on your morning commute, all four of you that were like, my morning is worse. It's my fault. So yeah, you can put that blame on me, as the song goes.
So, based on some texts, unsolicited texts that I got from your wife, hold on, that sounded weird, that your wife sent to me and my wife, which I'd like to read, I believe. These are from yesterday. Let me find them. I cannot imagine that you guys spent any actual family time together. Okay, yesterday, 6:46 p.m. Help me. I'm not a human being. Okay, we asked her a question. She answered, we walked to Kilroy's from the game and drank way too much. I do not know how I survived. I may go to sleep at 8. LOL. So how was family time yesterday?
So she stayed up till halfway through Sunday Night Football, but she was a zombie human, to be completely honest. But she did back up your text to where when, the tailgate started to get a little slow, she was like, let's play a game. Let's do shots. So it sounds like she played her role as Brandon. She did her best Brandon impression of keeping the tailgate going. And that is the result. That is the result. When you are the let's drink, let's do things, let's never quit, LIVIN, there's consequences. There are consequences to actions.
Let's set this. I'm going to set the scene, and I'll let some people live post vicariously through myself. So on Friday, we get down to Bloomington. Father-in-law hooked us up with an incredible hotel. Stayed at the Graduate right there on Kirkwood. Some reason, I don't know if it was a lack of rooms, but we had a suite.
Amazing.
Wife and I, yeah. So it was pretty awesome. Went out Friday night. Actually, before we went out, like right outside of our room, we were on the 4th floor. And if anybody's familiar with the Graduate, the 4th floor has like an outdoor terrace that looks over Kirkwood.
You fancy.
Oh yeah, dude. It had a full-on tailgate party. Tito's, free food, like free Tito's, by the way. Free food, everything. No cover charge, not just whatever. If you're there, you're there. We went out there, we partied a little bit there, waited for all, I think, 14 or so people that you're with to venture out. We made it to upstairs. We made it upstairs, I think, to the former Dunkirk area. And we were cornered. We were in a corner. I had a very good spot to watch Miami lose, which was great. And that place was rocking anytime Louisville did anything, which is good to see. Some actual like students paying attention to other football games.
Could Braum be a dark horse Penn State candidate? Or will he never leave Louisville?
I don't. You know what? There's a lot of money at Louisville. Is it all
Yes.
in their basketball program though? I don't know. It depends on where they're putting their money. If they're gonna spend it on football, they can probably spend with Penn State. But that's a good candidate. But I think Matt Rule's pretty much got it all but locked up.
Dude, he just lost. Matt
did
Rule had a
lose. Did he lose? Who did he
terrible
lose to?
weekend. Minnesota. Like,
Oh my
it was like
gosh.
24-6. Like, it was
To Minnesota?
yeah,
That's a bad loss.
it was a bad loss.
Bad loss. Okay.
Minnesota that lost the Cal.
Minnesota, they got just trampled on by Ohio State. Like, and this is probably going to come back to bite me at some point, but not an overly impressive Ohio State, I would say.
Nope.
Like a solid team, very good team, obviously number 1 in the country, but yeah. Okay, hold on. Fast forward real quick. Night was great. Spent a lot of time at upstairs. Fantastic new setup they've got. It's incredible. You told us to go there. We went there. It was awesome. We end up calling it a night. 11 o'clock, whatever. Grab some Jimmy John's.
They said you were the
Cookies.
second wave of people to leave. There was
Yes.
a first wave,
Correct.
and then there was a second wave. You were part of the second wave that left.
Correct. All I know is that there were random waves of people coming on Saturday. So
Yes.
first wave came in, your wife part of that, all the stuff, pretty much all the snacks, all the drinks, which I would say 3/4 of those are in my refrigerators here at my house, because it all came back with us. It was awesome, but they all came in hungover wave after hungover wave of 36-year-old women and a couple of their husbands who had never experienced that sort of Kirkwood in probably 10 years, right? Other than Sasha. Sasha came in as a trooper. That's where she had to come in. So many people, right? We get there, everybody's, we're just going to sit around at tailgate and we're going to talk and we're going to eat some food. No, Sasha was like, hell no. Hell no. We're playing Flip Cup within 5 minutes of getting everything set up. We're playing 21 right after that. If you guys that don't know that, it's like 3-on-3 beer pong, essentially. And then after that, we're playing Slap Cup. My seat just gave out. Slap Cup, and boom. And it's just like she was having to go, though. She was like, come on, everybody. You're playing. Jello shots flowing like crazy. The hardest Jello shots I've ever had in my life. Just incredible tailgate. Then they went out afterwards, which is insane. I would have gone back to the hotel after the game and probably called it a night, but ended up driving home, let my wife have some fun with some former sisters of hers. And it was a great weekend.
It sounded like Sasha kept me updated. It was funny. Obviously, we just had a guys trip, and I'm sure the listeners are just so engaged in this. We just had a guys trip. I think I maybe made one call over the 3 days and maybe 5 texts. This is just how different. I think there are probably a lot of couples like this. So on the guys trip, I barely spoke to my wife and family. Sasha called like every night, every morning, kept me updated on every little thing they were doing. So just complete 180s on two party weekends. So
I can tell you as soon as the like non-foreign husbands showed up to this girls' weekend, your wife was upset that you were not attending. We'll just say that much, because that's a
yeah.
in case people are listening.
Yeah, there was a journo, a European football journalist who is from England. Martin from England, covers. I don't know the football club in France. I do not know.
Oh, there's a bunch. There's PSG. I can't remember. They told me. Now, as you know, and some of the listeners know, when Bragg drives, he can still drink at tailgate. So we just got to taper off after that. Yes. So that might have been at like my peak of tailgate drinking. I cannot remember what it is. Lyon, maybe, or Marseille, or PSG. Probably not PSG. But yes. Good guy.
Martin, but I guess my point there with the non or the foreign foreign husbands. Both are husbands. Martin, he's from England. Dude can drink. Martin is an absolute horse. Jurgen, South African, lives in New York City, doesn't really live the party football.
No.
I heard he had a tough time. He's a very nice guy, but again, Indiana and football and drinking is a different level than I think he could have ever prepared for. So
when I told him,
I heard he struggled.
Yes, this was the time I knew he was going to be a little bit of a problem, not for me, but for them. At about, when did we get to upstairs? Let's call it 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock, we get to upstairs. We meet him. He leans over, says, hey, thanks for having us tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. What time are we going out there? I said, well, game starts at 3:30. Let's call it 10 o'clock. The way his face lit up, Brandon, as if I had told him we were going in an hour, was crazy to me. Now, that's the fun part, because like I'm pretty sure, no, I think he might have come with his wife, but there were like separated wife-husband combos at different parts. Like Martin came with the first crew, and his wife didn't show up till like, I don't know, 2 hours later. Like it was wild. That's enough of that though. Unless you got anything else, we can move on.
No. That's not too rare. Mandy is just to give people that they don't care. She went to IU, was a theater major, and now does like whatever Paris's version of Broadway is. She is an actress in France, but she does not drink at all.
Tourist too, right? She does like bakery tours or something in France.
Yes,
which sounds amazing.
So while Martin can definitely hang, Mandy's days of hanging, she's an actress now. So that is not surprising that she did not make it either.
We made her drink. Another one of Sasha's friends and myself cornered her in God, sounds terrible. Cornered her in slap cup.
Oh, that's not good.
She had the last like anywhere between 6 to 7 beers, including the death cup.
That's probably as much as she has in a month.
Yes.
So
she got it pretty good. All right, moving on. All right, we are, speaking of getting it pretty good, we are here to talk about the win, the IU win, another one, mark it off. Game number 7 in the books, win against Michigan State at home on homecoming, 38-13. Yeah, man, 7-0, up to number 2 in both of the polls, as deservedly so, as we pretty much all knew was going to happen. I was there and didn't feel like this until I watched the whole game yesterday, but all I kept hearing prior to watching the whole game, going off of YouTube clips and everything else, was we dominated Michigan State. Didn't feel like it in the stadium. How did you feel about the game watching it on TV?
Yeah. So obviously I had 2 kids, but I also had kind of one of my best friends over, and he said the same thing. So I think for people that don't watch every snap, every quarter, every play, it probably seemed like that. But the first half, I felt uneasy. Like this for me. So second half was just utter domination, except for probably the last 6 minutes of the game, which cost me a financial amount.
It's a lot of people, a lot of money.
But yeah, so it's just interesting to the diehards like you, like me, like our listeners, I think probably felt underwhelmed, but I think for the vast majority, it probably was domination station. Does that make sense?
Yes. And after watching the game yesterday, I finally felt like, okay, now it makes sense. I could tell you in the stadium, because Chelsea kind of said this, my wife said the same thing when I talked to her about it either yesterday or on the way home Saturday, was she felt nervous in the first quarter or around that time, right? And I said, there's no need for that. They got a field goal, we went down and scored. They got a touchdown, we went down and scored. Then we went down and scored. Then we went down and scored. I was like, we could have done whatever we wanted to do to them on offense, and we did it. It's another stat. I don't have the stat, but it's another game where we didn't see the punter. that I didn't see the punter. I don't know if we punted later on in the game or not, but it was statistically, other than some passing yards, which a tip of the hat to Chillis. What do they call him on TV? Chillis? I think they kept calling him Chillis on TV. By the way, Jason Garrett can go fly a kite. Like that.
He's so bad.
Do something
so
else.
again, bring up my buddy. He's a Washington football team fan. And so he doesn't like Jason Garrett just from Cowboy days. So we were clowning on him from kickoff to end of the game. He was one of the worst announcers I've ever heard. Very, very poor job from Jason Garrett.
Yes. I really like all of NBC and Peacock's like main guys, but yeah, Jason Garrett he was not
bad.
Good.
He was very bad.
All right, let's get back to the game. Number two, got that stats of the game. I'm going to run through some stuff. Then maybe if you've got anything else, you can let me know. Run of the game. So this was good. Did not notice this in the game. Heard it post game with Coach Sig. After trailing 7-10 with 8 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the second quarter, IU went on a 31-0 run to put the game away. That's where the complete domination came into effect. Basically, halfway through the second quarter, throughout it. Michigan State, absolutely, and I didn't write down first half time of possession. Maybe I'll bring it up, but absolutely dominated that first half. I guess offensively with time of possession. I mean, it was the biggest gap in time of possession ever. But as I said, we went like, I think the first drive or second drive was like an 11-play, 75-yard drive in like 4 minutes. Like it was like whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted to get it, we got it. Next stat, tackles and sacks, or tackles for loss and sacks. Let's do it the other way. Sacks and tackles for loss. IU had 4 sacks and 9 tackles for loss. Another game where we did not give up a sack to Mendoza. 0 sacks for Michigan State.
I want to talk about this a little bit because the quick game passing was on display against Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought about this offensive line play that I was more impressed. There were more 3-step drop back passes.
Oh,
Mendoza left the pocket in this game almost more than I can think of in any game. So I actually thought this game right here was better offensive line play than I've seen all year. Now Michigan State doesn't exactly have playmakers. And it's my only rando. Why did we switch the game plan so much from Michigan State to Oregon on both sides of the ball? Bragg, I was gonna wait to bring this up in stock up, stock down, because it's not a stock up or stock down, but like against Oregon, we played all press man. This was all drop covered zone on defense.
Yep. Other than a few big plays, I know of 2. One of them was Farrell. One of them was Pons that made some great one-on-one deflections. And then, but dude, the zone, the whole stadium was screaming about the zone. Like it, I get bringing pressure, but when Michigan State's going to sit in there with 2 tight ends or have a tight end and not even send him out on a route, then if you bring 5, they've got 6 plus the running back if they need him to block. And Chillis had Chili's. I'm going to call him Chili's. I'm not going to do Chillis.
Baby.
Chili's had all day to throw the football. All day. And then we figured some stuff out. We went to man, took that away from him, and we started bringing some more heat. And you started seeing the
we obviously made adjustments, but I'm talking about
I don't like it.
I didn't like it at all. And then also on offense, we went back to running the ball on first and second down.
I was okay with the offense. Yeah,
it obviously worked. It worked. The offense worked for 3.5 quarters. We won't talk about the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter because, again, financial implications made me biased. But it obviously worked, but I just don't. It seemed like a completely different strategy on both sides of the ball. And maybe that is just to show teams that we don't have tendencies. Maybe that's to put enough sample size on film to diversify how we can attack. I don't know that side enough. Again, played football, but I don't know that strategy and implement a part to know why we did that. I just know I didn't love it. I didn't love it.
I think mixing it up is probably the answer, especially with, and I hate saying this, a better and definitely a much better playing team and a better quarterback coming in this week in Nico and UCLA, that just, especially with an inexperienced coaching staff there too, is give them as many possible looks as you can give them.
Yep.
To have to, you guys have to prepare for every single one of those. And so who knows, dude, Saturday, you may come out, you may not see a zone anywhere. On 3rd and 95, we might go full engage 8. Like, it might be crazy time. The offense, I have no complaints. I feel like some of the running schemes were a little weird. Hemby didn't have a ton of success, and I don't think a lot of it was his fault. I thought they got pretty good penetration. Now, granted, they only had 3 TFLs, but they did a pretty good job at containing Roman Hemby. But they couldn't do anything for Mendoza, which brings me to the highest Mendoza stat line, which I'm sure everybody.
That's a great segue. That's a professional segue.
It is,
by the way.
He goes 24 of 28, 332 yards passing, 4 touchdowns with a 97.1 QBR. Now, the other side of the ball, Chillis had like a 92 QBR, which is ridiculous.
I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. I got it. I'm doing Seth's job. 95 QBR.
95. Yeah, during that game took a mental note and said, I'm going to give him props. He played a pretty darn good game. He didn't really put any balls in any sort of jeopardy. I don't remember anything close to an interception, which is good against that defense. That's really good.
He did not. He did not. There's 2 things that we covered before the game: his inaccuracy and his turnover, mistake-prone tendencies. He was accurate, and there wasn't like an almost interception or he fumbled it but got back on top of it. He played the best game I've ever seen him play. Now is that because he just leveled up? Is that because we sort of played into that? Yeah, I think you can slice and dice out a million different ways. The thing that I wanted to bring up, it had social media and Peegs 247. If you haven't subscribe and pay, it's worth the $10 a month. It had social media and Peegs lit up, and I didn't see this because as soon as the game ended, there were a lot of good 3:30 football games. It was actually a kind of an amazing college football weekend in general, with a ton of higher ranked teams losing. So I didn't see this, but I guess you could see this on the Peacock broadcast. Chillis comes up and has a longer than just great game conversation with Cignetti. And then Cignetti brings up Chillis in the press conference, and Chillis brings up Cignetti, which has, again, social media and message boards on fire that Chillis is an option to be our starting quarterback next year. What are your thoughts if Chillis was our starting quarterback, if it meant Nick Marsh comes?
Done. Sign me up.
What if Nick Marsh doesn't come
tomorrow? Then
because you know who I want.
I know who you want, and I have been. You guys can go back and listen to the preview podcast of last season's Michigan State preview. I've been a fan of him. Granted, I don't think that he had a lot going into that game. I think that he's very poorly coached, and I think that's very obvious. If you couldn't tell, you couldn't see "I'm fired" written right across the forehead of Jonathan Smith, then you did not watch the game. You were either at the game or you listened to the game, but he literally had written across his forehead, "I'm finished." Like, it's over. Yeah. His facial expressions were insane. The guy has he's pure talent. Chillis, if we're talking about him on our team, he's Chillis. He's pure talent. He's big. He can run. He's got a big arm. He could use some polishing, but if you could give me Connor Bazelak back if I get Nick Marsh. That's all I'm going to say. If I get Nick Marsh, I will take pretty much any quarterback outside of Ryan Brown.
So again, I don't know if it means anything, but like I could not. Like I had to see it a dozen times on message boards or social media, so I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I had to break your heart, right?
Yeah,
it
did. It did. Hoover's my boy.
Yes. Couple more stats. Third down conversions. IU was 5 of 8. Michigan State only 5 of 14. That's 63% to 36%. And then we'll get our LOL Florida State stats out of the way, and then I'll sit back.
Real quick on stats. I have one more stat. So they were 5 of 14 on third down, which on the surface looks good. Until you see they were 3 for 4 on fourth down.
Yeah.
Chillis had a few easy runs. He had a few easy passes. That's kind of been a theme. Even if you go back to Old Dominion, Iowa, if again, I'm not putting this as stock down. I'm just putting this as a referendum. We got to learn how to get a stop on fourth down.
Just get out of the zone is what you have to do.
So, and I just wanted to note that they were 3 of 4. And a lot of those were drive extenders. A big reason why we dominated Oregon is we got off the field. I think Michigan State, Iowa, Old Dominion, teams that we have kind of hang around is because some of that situational football. So just a note.
I did not include the fourth down conversions for that reason.
Okay, let's get to Florida State's LOLs because it's every week and it's amazing.
It's ridiculous. So they've now lost 4 straight in the ACC. That's just this season. That's to Virginia, Miami, Pitt, and LOL Stanford. Stanford, who was I think a 2.5 win preseason team, maybe 3.5 win, has now more wins than Florida State does, I believe. They were stuffed at net. Tell me if I'm wrong here. They were stuffed at the goal line on a non-time down, correct? After an in the end zone pass interference, which was a terrible defensive play by Stanford. Stanford is ranked 114th in red zone defense, in total defense, 114th. And what is supposed to be a tradition, a major blue blood program, could not score. They only how many points did they score in that game? Do you know?
13
points. They scored 13 points against a 114th ranked defense. Stanford has allowed 30 trips to the red zone with 25 scores, could not score from there. In comparison, 30 trips to the red zone in 7 games. Compare that to IU, who has only allowed, and they are number 1 in the country, I believe, 6 red zone trips against two opponents through 7 games. That is insane. So talk about the defense all you want. I mean, I guess they gave up definitely one of them this week, but
So just real quick, then we can move on. One guy quit the group chat, absolutely removed himself. And then I'd say about 75% of the other Florida State fans in the group chat, which is I think probably 6 out of 8 of them, were absolutely silent and still have not said a word since Saturday night. So I hope they're okay. They are down bad. They are down super, super bad.
Yes. I hope they, as a person, I do not know these people, but they sound awful, but I hope that they are okay. But just maybe smash their phone into pieces or something.
Yeah, they're down bad. All right, you want to get to headlines?
Headlines. I have one headline. I don't even have a sub headline. We just took care of business. And
so I got another
pretty much the same thing.
I got another punny one, similar to last week with Ian's got smoked. When it rains, it pours, and I don't care if that's in the East Lansing Journal or the Bloomington Herald. Because I think it's applicable for both teams. Man, Michigan State, like you said, is a dead team walking. They just they might not know it, but they're done. Hard to see them winning another game this season. And then with Indiana, more on the offensive side, but they scored on 5 or 6 consecutive possessions. And most of it looked really easy. Really, really easy. So when it rains, it pours is my headline for the game.
Michigan State's remaining schedule. Tell me if you see a win here. I don't.
If I remember it from Thursday or Wednesday, I don't think I do.
Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan's only favorite by 14.5.
No.
Then they travel to Minnesota.
No.
Who is
Who just
somehow 5-2, by the way.
dominated Nebraska.
Then they've got Penn State at home,
No.
who hung with Iowa. Who
Beat 'em.
Iowa just
Beat it.
oof.
Oh, no. Iowa won 25-24, walk-off field goal. Yep.
Yes. Michigan State goes to Iowa.
Not a
And
chance.
then they have Maryland at Ford Field. That one, maybe. We'll see if Maryland does the typical Maryland thing at the end of the season.
I feel like Maryland always quits as soon as November starts.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's a saying. It's September Maryland in September or September Maryland, one of the two, where they're always undefeated through the first month of the season. Like they just dominate everybody, and everybody thinks, "Oh, rank them," and then they just
don't win another game.
So, all right, let's go through. Let's do marketplace stock ups on offense and defense. We're not going to do anything on offense unless Brandon has anything to talk about. And
Nope,
I think
already
we kind
have.
of already pooed already all over the stock down on defense, which is
Correct.
just
Only
his
stocks
own
up.
defense scheme in general. So stock up on offense. Where are you going to go?
EJ Williams.
Yeah, he was
Again, he looked incredible. That was a touchdown, by the way. If
Yes,
that would have been drywall watch if that was at your game or at your basement. It makes no sense how you can toe drag. If you toe drag, it's a catch.
that one. Yes.
If you toe drag, it's a catch. But if your toe touches in the end zone but your heel lands out, you're out. I don't understand that. I don't like that. Seems like whatever part of your, like if your heel's the first thing to hit out of bounds, you're out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
But if your toe hits inbounds, it shouldn't matter. That's a catch. But he was incredible. He looked unstoppable. He did it in go routes, slants. He ran, his route tree was what a number 1 or number 2 should do.
Mhm.
And if you can add, we got Batman and Robin and Surratt and Omar Cooper. If you can add a third weapon, that becomes too much. That becomes overwhelming for a defense because you can't really scheme around a third option like that. So EJ Williams, let's go, dude. Let's go.
Not just an option, right? But a 6'3", like elite 5-star option. Like he's not some scrub. No offense, I don't want to say scrub, but he's not some mid-major transfer in, right? He's a 5-star high school recruit that transferred from Clemson. He was the player that they talked to post game, that Don Fisher talked to, and it's all come down to injuries. I've been a big fan of his since he came to the team 3 years ago. He talked about it the same way. He's like, man, I just, if I could just stay on the field, I can, you can see what I can do, blah, 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 blah. And then back to the touchdown thing. This makes the second straight week where we're having a national controversy about referee calls in Indiana. So you go to the no call on the obvious pass interference that thankfully didn't cost us a game at Oregon. And then this one, which didn't cost us a game either, but it's another one where it's just a
financial implications on that one.
Yes.
Financial implications.
And I want to give you a hypothetical, and I want you to think about it this way, because the way they presented it on the broadcast was, and even the play-by-play guy was like, well, what if he turns his body and just drags his toe? They're like, it's a touchdown. But because his heel's coming down, it's got to continue all the way through the process, right? Everybody's heard that, I'm sure. But here's the thing. You can literally jump out of bounds at the 3-yard line and fly your body out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
The ball,
hang the ball.
the ball over the pylon, and it's a touchdown. So literally no no part of your body in bounds other than the football over the goal line. It just has to hit the tip of the goal line, right? Here's the other thing. So if he has possession, which he did, coming down, as soon as that toe touches in bounds and he comes down, no matter where the rest of his body is, and he maintains possession through the catch if he's being hit, that needs to be a touchdown.
Yep.
End of discussion. It's just done.
Correct.
It's done. Great game for him. I don't know where to start. I mean, we just keep beating a dead horse, right? You got Nando, incredible. Cooper, incredible. 8 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. Surratt, everybody thought, you would think at the game, definitely I thought this at the game, I thought he had 100 catches. He only had 4. 4 catches, 70 yards, did one of the slowest juke moves you'll ever see in your life that sent a guy 5 yards out of bounds to score his first touchdown. And then it wasn't even him. Good job catching the ball, Surratt. That's great. Right as he threw that football, Nando threw that football to him in the front corner of the end zone. As soon as that left his hand, I saw where it was going, and I turned to my wife and I said, what a ball. Like, just a dot where literally nobody else could have caught that football. So I'm going to give it to Riley Nowakowski. I'll give it to him. I gave 3 catches, 54 yards. I like him. He was your second one, you said?
He was my second one.
Yeah. I think the reason I'm giving it to him is because all preseason, everything I said came out of my mouth was, it's going to be Holden Stays. He's going to be the big transfer tight end. He's going to be the one. Nowakowski's just going to block, blah, 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 blah. Just another just really solid game. And another huge gain from probably one of the slowest people on the offense.
And the thing that I wanted, because again, if you would have looked into this matchup and you said, all right, let's Velling is the best tight end in this game. Velling was fine. I mean, he did his normal, I'm going to do a 4-yard curl and then just go right down. Nowakowski greatly outplayed him. Mm-hmm. And so that was my thing, is because, we've been talking Velling for a few years and he's a mainstay in the Big Ten. And Riley Nowakowski was like, no, I have better hands. I can run after the catch. I have a more diverse route tree. So Riley Nowakowski, again, man, if he's your 4th or 5th option, you have a damn good team. And we all know we do. So I just wanted to give that a shout. Because again, he just is such a versatile weapon because he is so multidimensional.
Yeah. Defense, it's going to be a little bit less of the same repeat names over and over again, except for, again, the leading tackler, Lewis Moore. But who do you have?
Louie. Yeah, because for me, so I didn't watch the full game yesterday. I just watched like the 18-minute Big Ten, sped up version. He made 3 or 4 solo tackles that made it a 4 to 8 yard gain. If he misses, I don't know when he's getting tackled.
There were a couple big ones. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So again, I mean, 38-13 nationally being viewed as a dominant win. If he even misses 2 of those, and let's say this game is 38-17, I don't know if the national narrative is domination station. So Louis Moore, for me, again, as a safety, you need to be that last line of defense. And he has proved that he can intercept the ball. He can solo tackle. He is a do-it-all safety. So stock up for me for Louis Moore because, again, having that reliability as the last line of defense is vital for a team defense.
Yeah, so you took Moore. That was the number 1. I'll go with the guy we talked about, or at least I talked about. No, I talked about Stephen Daly last week. Let's go with Elijah Hardy. I haven't brought his name up very much, if at all, this season. I thought he had a great game on Saturday. 8 tackles, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. He was flying around out there on Saturday. Yes, that was I think probably his first game this season where you saw, you can't even really say vintage, right? But the vintage Elijah Hardy of last season. I thought he looked really good. The one player I thought that they schemed against really well, and I guess props again to Michigan State's offense at least, was Bones Jones. Outside of one play was pretty much invisible.
He
They did
missed
really
a
good job of
tackle
going
or
away from him.
two. He seemed to not play the zone overly great. It seemed like they were throwing either right behind or right in the middle of his area of the zone often. So yeah, I agree with you there that maybe a little bit out of his comfort zone, pun intended, for that game plan, as opposed to last game plan. It couldn't fit him better. He was the best defensive player on the field, filled with All-Americans and NFL players. But yeah, no, he had a forgettable performance. Not a stock down, but it's
no.
I
I think they might have figured something out. Maybe some teams are starting to figure that out. Like he's in for run package or what they've got going on. It'll be interesting to see how much he gets used now. And for those that are just hearing this, it sounds like Kellen Wyatt, starting defensive end, is probably going to be out for a long time, if not the season. First big injury, knock on wood, thankfully, of the season. But we haven't thrown this around. I don't know what happens to that position. Do they move Hardy over there? Do they move Kamara back over on that side of the line? Like, we'll see how it plays out. Do we see more of Jones because of it? I don't know, but I think it'll be interesting to see. We've already talked about the scheme.
This is how I know we as an Indiana football has made it, because I obviously follow a ton of Twitter doctors or alleged Twitter doctors as it pertains to fantasy football more often than not. They brought up the Kellen Wyatt injury and the speculation, because it's college athletics. We'll never figure out what the injury is. They say it's likely a knee sprain, something with the ACL or MCL. And that's typically a 2 to 3 month recovery, one of those 8 to 12 week things. So, if they play January football, he could be back. Almost a lock that he's done for the regular season. But it's not completely out of the question if Indiana's playing late December, early January football, that he's back. So that's at least what the Twitter doctors are saying, which means absolutely nothing. But just if you guys didn't see that, that's what I've read, is it's likely some sort of knee sprain.
So, yeah, which is better than, I guess the other possible outcome. So
there's a tear or knee or PCL or kneecap or all that bad stuff.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, that'll wrap that up. Give us just a minute or so. We'll come back. We'll revisit predictions, and then we'll get out of here. This episode is brought to you by your go-to expert in the Indiana real estate market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home right here in the heart of the Hoosier country, Garrett Lawton with True Blood Real Estate is the agent that you need. He's not just a real estate agent, he's a Hoosier fan just like you. And Garrett knows Indiana inside and out, from Bloomington to Indianapolis and everywhere in between. Plus, his personalized service makes the buying and selling process smooth and stress-free. So if you're ready to make a move, give Garrett a call at 317-410-8851 or visit his website at lawton-realty.com. And we're back. Welcome back. Let's revisit predictions real quick. Seth had IU winning 104-3. That didn't happen. I thought we'd put up a little bit more of an offensive explosion, but when the other team has the ball for 90% of the first half, it's kind of hard to do that. I had us scoring 56 and Michigan State 10, so not too far off on Michigan State's side. Brandon, I guess, takes it for the lowest point total. Brandon 47-3. So congratulations, Brandon. I believe this is your first win of the season.
Hey, nice to get on the board.
Yes. All right. Final statements. I'll give mine. Mine's just more of a shout out, and then I'll let you do yours. Shout out to Kyle at Grizzly Hoosier. He came over to the tailgate. I believe you communicated with him. Is that correct?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Comes over to the tailgate. He told me a very funny story, and I want to apologize a little bit. I was, as I explained earlier in the podcast, we did go out for a little bit. I did have a bunch of free drinks before we went out. Maybe wasn't feeling 100%. So sorry if I wasn't super chipper, but I felt like I did an okay job. But probably should have got you a shot, should have got you involved in a game or two. Apologies for that. And it was kind of close for me to go in, and Brandon knows how I get whenever that goes.
Very antsy, very cerebral in your, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, I need to be in the stadium.
Quiet on the outside, loud on the inside. So he swung by the tailgate. It was funny. He told me the story. He said, because you told him that we are on the east side of Assembly Hall, which is not true. We are on the south side of Assembly Hall. Now, maybe he confused it with the east side of Memorial Stadium, but we are on the south side of Assembly Hall. He said that he lived for forever.
I will take ownership if I said that, because I was completely sober. So
well, there you go. I'll explain this story real quick. Apparently, he thought he had found me and had approached a different tailgate and asked them if they were me, which they obviously weren't. But then I don't know if he heard me talking or if he just saw me, whatever it was. But I appreciate you for coming by. If you do it again this week, if you're coming to the UCLA game, Brandon and I will be there again, usually about in the same area of lot 2. Anybody's allowed to come by the way. We will have shots. We will have drinks flowing. We will have the whole thing. There will be less sorority girls and more bros at this tailgate.
I shall be there. So I don't know if that's a positive or negative.
It's a good thing. It's a good
well
thing.
For you, but I don't know what other people think.
I think we'll be fine.
So
my brother's
I don't want to call Kyle out,
Nick
but I'm going to call Kyle out.
Call him.
I go, do you know where this is all verbatim, reading the receipts. Do you know where we usually tailgate? He responded by no, I'm not sure where your tailgate is. I said, south side of Assembly Hall, right by the entrance. Usually first or second row of parking. I'll have Seth or Bragg tweet it out. They will be starting up around 10:30. Bragg and his wife were in Bloomington last night, so it depends how they're feeling this morning.
Oh, okay.
Much more, again, jovial, fun conversation after that. But I did say south side of Assembly Hall, right by the entrance.
Let me get you your stuff here. Where's it at?
Claps. Give me the claps. There we go. My point is not to call Kyle out. It is you can DM me. I am a reliable source of information. That's the only reason I did that. My DMs are open. If you want to know where we're tailgating or you want to have a conversation about a game, because him and I did have had, and hopefully will have continued conversations about Indiana and football games. But I just want to make sure you can come to me. I will provide accurate information. Yeah,
good dude. Good dude, by the way. We also ran into him. Those that did not go to the game, there was it felt like forever, but it wasn't that bad. Rain delay where we were asked to leave the seats for lightning that nobody actually ever saw, but a heck of a downpour. Got a heck of a downpour. You could see that. Obviously, it's not closed in Memorial Stadium, so you could see and hear it as you were leaving the stadium or as you were leaving the stands. Ran into him on the way back to the seats, so he doesn't sit too far out if they're his season tickets or not. I forgot to ask him, but not too far from where we sit too. So I appreciate him doing that, and it's really nice to see one of our 5 listeners every now and then. So.
He's an OG.
What do you got,
and he's been here. He's been here through the LEO days, the Tom Allen days. So yeah, he's awesome in every way.
Yeah, good dude.
Cool. My final statement is, had this game been 10 years ago, this would have been the best IU performance in a long time. Yet you and me were underwhelmed, not overly happy, but not like we're not on this pod saying flawless, amazing, such a good game. That shows where Indiana has come in such short order. We dominated a rival in a trophy game at home on homecoming. And you and I's overall sentiment was good, not great, with a 25-point win. That mind shift, that culture change in a season and a half is absolutely incredible. Because like I said, if this was 10 years ago, if this is the waning days of Kevin Wilson and we won 38-13 and dominated for 2.5 quarters, went on a 31-0 run, you and I would be doing somersaults on this pod. And yet we're coming here with lukewarm sink water. That is on the surface. Saying that out loud is just an incredible transformation. And I want people to understand that we're on episode 274, right? We have done the previous 250 episodes. We would have killed for a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yet here we are. Here we are. So I just wanted to bring that up as a final statement because you're right. I mean, you've nitpicked, I've nitpicked, we can nitpick, but just for the 30,000 foot view for almost the entire timeline, we would be going nuts if we won the old brass spittoon on homecoming against a rival 38-13. And now it's that's just crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, we didn't cover it. So
good teams win, great teams cover. That's why it was a good win, not a great win.
That's what all the Purdue friends are saying in the group chat. I mean, I just go get blanked by Northwestern again. Like, go get blanked by Northwestern. Ridiculous. Don't sit here and talk about anything. Your basketball season's right around the corner, guys. So you can be happy again in just a little bit. That's it. Is that all you got? That's it?
That's all I got. That's all I got.
It just made me sick talking about Purdue basketball. It's ridiculous. Be sure to check out the pod, Twitter, and Instagram at Happy Hour IUFB. Be sure to download, rate, review, and follow on all of our platforms. Again, please reach out to myself or Brandon or Seth. Sometimes it's hard to get reception in the tailgate lots, and it's very impossible in the stadium. So reach out early. We'll kind of tell you where we're setting up. We'll kind of tell you wherever. Swing by. We'll have fireball shots. We'll have beers. We'll have hopefully some drinking games going on or something.
Who can we convince to drive us next? Who can we convince to drive us?
One of your friends.
We'll talk about that offline. We got friends. We got friends.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Speaking of drinking.
Yeah, have a drink. We can't see you, but it's fine.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.